Dr. MSI selaku Dekan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Lambung Mangkurat. Yang kami hormati Bapak Khairul So'rani SMSI selaku Koordinator Program Studi Ekonomi Pembangunan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Lambung Mangkurat. Yang kami hormati Bapak Profesor Dr. Abdel Haksenashki selaku narasumber. Yang kami hormati Bapak Profesor Muhammad Handri Imansyah MAM PhD, serta Bapak dan Ibu mahasiswa peserta kuliah umum, dosen tamu internasional Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Lambung Mangkurat, serta Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Jember pada pagi hari ini yang berbahagia. Alhamdulillah, puji syukur kita panjatkan karena berkat rahmat-Nya kita masih bisa berkumpul untuk bersama-sama menimba ilmu dari para narasumber yang luar biasa. Kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional kali ini mengusung tema Green Economy Pathway to Sustainable Development. Good morning, Om Swastiastu, respectable Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Business, Lambung Mangkurat University, Mr. Professor Dr. Ahmad Yunani SMSI, Honorable Head of Coordinator of the Development Economic Study Program, Faculty of Economic and Business, Lambung Mangkurat University, Mr. Khairul So'rani SMSI, Honorable Mr. Professor Dr. Abdel Haksenashki PhD is our distinguished speaker. Honorable Mr. Professor Muhammad Handri Imansyah MAM PhD is our distinguished lecturer. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizer, we would like to extend a warm welcome and express our gratitude for participating in the International Public Lecture this morning. Firstly, I would like to express our utmost gratitude to God to allowing us to gather at today's event in good health. I am Siti Aisyah, and it is an honor and precious opportunity for me to be your Master of Ceremony this morning, Friday, 31st of May, 2024. Today's International Public Lecture is a significant event where we come together to share knowledge, insight, and innovation. In an era where environmental degradation and climate change are facing global issues, the concept of a green economy offers a promising pathway. A green economy is not just about reducing environmental risk and ecological scarcities, but also about achieving sustainable development without degrading the environment. It aims to improve human well-being and social equity while significantly reducing environmental risk and ecological scarcities. Sustainable development is the foundation of a green economy. With this in mind, the theme of our International Public Lecture today is Green Economy Pathway to Sustainable Development. Give a applause. Sebelum memulai acara, saya selaku MC mengajak Bapak dan Ibu dan mahasiswa kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional untuk bersama-sama berdoa sesuai dengan agama dan keyakinan masing-masing. Berdoa dimulai. Berdoa selesai. Yang berikutnya, izinkan saya selaku MC membacakan susunan acara. Yang pertama, pembukaan, menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya dan Mars Universitas Lambung Mangkurat. Yang kedua, sambutan. Yang ketiga, foto bersama. Yang keempat, pemaparan materi dari narasumber, sekaligus diskusi dan tanya jawab. Dan yang kelima adalah penutup. Next, allow me to read the agenda of today's event. First is opening, singing of the Indonesian National Anthem, Indonesia Raya, and the Lambung Mangkurat University's March. Second, opening speech. Third, group photo. Fourth, presentation of material by the speakers, followed by a discussion and Q&A session. And lastly, conclusion and closing. Masuki agenda selanjutnya, yaitu menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya dan Mars Universitas Lambung Mangkurat. Para hadirin dimohon berdiri tegak dan mendengarkan dengan khidmat. Hadirin diharap duduk kembali. Terima kasih. Selanjutnya sambutan. Sambutan akan disampaikan oleh Bapak Profesor Dr. Ahmad Yunani SEMSI, selaku Dekan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Lambung Mangkurat. Kepada Bapak kami persilahkan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Selamat pagi, salam sehat untuk kita semua. Pertama-tama mari kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala atas nikmat yang dianugerahkan kepada kita semua sehingga diberikan kenikmatan berupa kesehatan jasmani dan rohani untuk hadir dan bertatap muka di tempat yang sama dalam rangka kegiatan kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional program studi ekonomi pembangunan. Yang terhormat narasumber kita Bapak Profesor Dr. Abdul Haq Senajki dari University Tunku Abdul Rahman. Yang terhormat Wakil Dekan 1 Ibu Dr. Kuliah SNSI. Kemudian Kepala Program Studi Ekonomi Pembangunan Bapak Khairul Saruni SE MSI. Kemudian Prodi Akuntansi diwakili oleh Ibu Yeni Hardi SE MSc AK dan Bapak Moderator Bapak Izan. Yang kami banggakan Profesor Muhammad Handri Mansah MAM PSD serta selamat datang Bapak Dr. Haji Muhammad Rijali MP datang. Selanjutnya saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada seluruh hadirin para mahasiswa yang saya cintai dan bisa meluangkan waktu untuk menghadiri kegiatan ini. Merupakan kesempatan yang baik untuk Prodi Ekonomi Pembangunan bisa melaksanakan kegiatan kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional yang bertema Grand Economy, Pathways to Sustainable Development. Bahasa kitanya bahasa Indonesia. Ini adalah jalur atau jalan menuju pembangunan yang berkelanjutan. Kita berkumpul di sini untuk mendapatkan wawasan dari pembicara yang luar biasa yang telah memberikan waktunya untuk kegiatan kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional pada hari ini. Pembicara kita pada hari ini yang terhormat Bapak Profesor Dr. Abdul Haq Senajki dari Universitas Tunku Abdul Rahman Fakultas Ekonomi dan Keuangan Kampar Malaysia yang tentu saja akan membahas topik yang berkaitan Grand Economy to Sustainable Development. Dan kita harapkan ini bisa memberikan wawasan pada kita semua. Profesor Dr. Abdul Haq Senajki merupakan guru besar ilmu ekonomi University Tunku Abdul Rahman Uttar. Mulai 10 Maret 2024 hingga sekarang beliau mengajar tentang metode penelitian ekonomi dasar, ekonomi Malaysia, prinsip ekonomi makro, prinsip ekonomi mikro, ekonomi mikro 2, ekonomi digital, kewirausahaan digital, perusahaan, ekonomi manajerial, itu ada penelitian kuantitatif dan kualitatif. Yang mana jabatan beliau saat ini adalah Wakil Dekan Research and Development dan Program Prasajarah Sarjana Fakultas Ekonomi dan Fakultas Bisnis dan Keuangan Universiti Tunku Abdul Rahman sejak 1 Januari 2024 hingga sekarang. Dan Profesor Dr. Abdul Haq Sinaski telah berkontribusi signifikan bagi sivitas akademiki melalui pendidikan dan publikasinya. Beliau telah menerbitkan secara luas di berbagai jurnal lokal dan internasional, Web of Science, Pupus, membuat buku, makalah penelitian, keahlian akademis beliau sangat dicari. Nah, beliau juga menjabat sebagai reviewer untuk beberapa jurnal, termasuk Journal of Islamic Accounting and Business Research, Journal of Development Career, National Journal of Social Economics, the Social Science Journal, Hogan Economics and Finance, Hogan Food and Agriculture, Journal of Poverty, Health Education and Welfare Management, is Open Academy of Accounting and Finance Study Journal, Journal of Advanced Management, Asset, National Review of Economics and Finance Sustainability, Urban Science, Science Iranica, Social Responsibility Journal, Organization and Market and Emerging Economies, National Journal of Housing Market and Analysis, Housing Studies, and et al. Lainnya ya. Jadi banyak sekali beliau. Saya berharap para dosen ya, bisa nantinya berkolaborasi dengan beliau, termasuk pada jurnal-jurnal yang mungkin beliau sebagai reviewer di sana, agar para dosen kita bisa dapatkan nilai tambah. Saya berharap dengan adanya kegiatan kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional ini, para mahasiswa bisa menyaring ilmu dan wawasan tentang ekonomi hijau terhadap kelanjutan pembangunan. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada Profesor Dr. Abdul Haq Sinaski karena telah berbagi keahlian dengan kami pada hari ini. Kontribusi sangat penting dalam mendorong pertukaran pengetahuan dan kolaborasi internasional pada Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, ULM, terutama di Prodi Ekonomi Pembangunan. I want to express my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Abdul Haq Sinaski for sharing your expertise with us today. Your contribution is essential in fostering knowledge exchange and international collaboration in our faculty. Semoga dengan diadakan kegiatan kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional ini dapat bermanfaat banyak pada para mahasiswa, dapat memperoleh pengetahuan yang lebih luas tentang ekonomi hijau bagi pembangunan. Saya akhiri sambutan dengan mengucapkan salam, hidayah taufik wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Pada Bapak Profesor Dr. Ahmad Yunani SEMSI, selaku Dekan Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis Universitas Lambung Mangkurat, kami sampaikan terima kasih. Selanjutnya, foto bersama. Kepada Bapak dan Ibu mahasiswa, diminta untuk berdiri dan berbalik arah agar bisa mengambil foto bersama. Silakan ikuti arahan dari panitia pelaksana. Next, we will take a group photo. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up and turn around so we can take a group photo. And for participants in the Zoom meeting, please activate your camera since we want to take a photo together. Mohon untuk mahasiswa untuk merapat. Kepada Bapak dan Ibu, serta mahasiswa, kami persilahkan untuk duduk kembali. Memasuki acara inti, yaitu pemaparan materi oleh narasumber, sekaligus diskusi serta tanya jawab yang dipandu langsung oleh Bapak Mizan Ikhlasul Rahman, SEMSC, selaku moderator. Now, we enter the main event, which is the presentation of material by our speakers, followed by discussion, question, and answer, guided by Mr. Mizan Ikhlasul Rahman, SEMSC, as the moderator. To Mr. Mizan Ikhlasul Rahman, SEMSC, I would like to invite you to the stage. The time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellency, Dean, Profesor Yunani, Your Excellency, Vice Dean, Ibu Dr. Musdalifah, Bapak Ibu semuanya, ladies and gentlemen. So, very good morning for all of us. So, I'm excited and honored to be here today for moderating this public lecture. So, thank you for the given opportunity. And thank God we can attend this lecture in a good and healthy condition. So today's lecture is about green economy, pathways to sustainable development. And this lecture is held by Department of Economics and Development Studies, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Mangkurat Banjarmasin. As we know that green economy is one of the economic system to promote and achieve sustainable development. So in a minute, we will understand more about this topic from Professor Abdelhak Senachki. And today's lecture is consisting of two parts. First part is my presentation from Professor Abdelhak Senachki, and then it is followed by a question and answer session from the audience. So please prepare your question to ask Professor Senachki that we can interact with him afterward. Before we move into the main presentation, main lecture from Prof. Senachki, I would like to read his short bio once again. So, Professor Senachki comes from Algeria. So he is an Algerian. He is a professor of economics at the Faculty of Business and Finance at University Tunku Abdul Rahman Yutar in Malaysia. Prof. Senachki holds a PhD from University Science Malaysia for his thesis titled Vulnerability to Poverty, Study of Rural Population in Kelantan and Terengganu, Malaysia, which he completed in 2013. He also received his Master of Economic Management from USM in 2008 and a bachelor's degree in economics from University of Algiers in 2003. Prof. Senachki has received the USM Fellowship from 2010 to 2013, during which he served as an academic researcher. His research interests include energy economics, developmental economics, housing economics, health economics, employee creativity and innovation, organizational culture, and social protection and elderly studies. Prof. Senachki has served in various leadership roles, including Head of Program Postgraduate Studies from 1st of January 2017 to 31st of December 2018, Acting Head of Department of Economics from 1st of February 2020 to 31st of May 2020, the Head of Postgraduate Program PhD in Economics from 23rd of March 2022 to 31st of December 2023, and the Deputy Dean of R&D and Postgraduate Programs from 1st of January 2024 to the present. Prof. Senaski has contributed significantly to the academic community through his research and publication. He has published widely in refereed journals, WOS, Scopus, chapters in books, and research papers. He served also as a reviewer for several refereed journals, including the Journal of Islamic Accounting and Business Research, Journal of Development Career, International Journal of Social Economics, the Social Science Journal, Kogan Economics and Finance, Kogan Food and Agriculture, the Journal of Poverty, Health Education and Behavior Management, Shades Open, Academy of Accounting and Finance Studies Journal, Journal of Advanced Management Research, International Review of Economics and Finance, Sustainability, Urban Science, Scientia Iranica, Social Responsibility Journal, Organization and Markets in Emerging Economies, International Journal of Housing Markets and Analysis, Housing Studies, and others. Prof. Senaski also served as article editor to the Shades Open Journal, and he has received several international and national awards. These awards include the 2019 and 2023 Emerald Literary Awards, FIIB Business Review High Impact Research Award, Top Reviewer Awards, Kogan Economics and Finance, Best Paper Awards, Best Presenter Awards, and others. In addition to his academic achievement, Prof. Senaski is also a trained trainer, or TTT, certified trainer and accredited trainer by the HDR Corp Malaysia. Certified trained trainer Alibaba program, GDT Digital Entrepreneurship Module, and GDT Digital Transformation Module, showcasing his commitment to teaching and mentoring the next generation of scholars. So without further ado, let's listen to the presentation and lecture from Professor Senaski. So Prof. Senaski, the time is yours, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nizam. Thank you. Before I start, I would like to know what is the time that I should stop the presentation?
I think the time duration is around 1 hour, more or less.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me my screen is not shared now, right? Okay. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Good morning to all students, colleagues there. I would like first to thank the University of Lambung Mangkurat for inviting me to this public lecture. It's really my pleasure to be with you all. I would like also to give a special thanks to Professor Dr. Ahmed Yunani, the Dean of Faculty of Business, Economics and Business, University of Lambung Mangkurat, and also special thanks to my friend Professor Muhammad Henry, which I personally met him during his visit last year in December. He is our external examiner for PhD Economics program. Thank you all to the faculty members, to the students. So I think I will go straight forward to the presentation. Today I'm going to share with you some of aspect and understanding of this green economy and how it is linked to sustainable development. So the first thing that we want to know, what is the green economy and what is sustainable development. So when we talk about green economy, so basically we are talking about an economic systems that promote sustainable development. So from from green economy, we are leading to the sustainable development. And how to do that? By reducing environmental risk and ecological scarcities. So the green economy provides a macroeconomic approach to sustainable economic growth with a central focus on investment, employment, and skills. So these green economics have 4 characteristics. The first thing is clean transit options, where here green economy policies dictate the need to maximize resource efficiency in all sectors, including transportation, for example. Then we have green building standards, where now, for example, in Malaysia, when those developer develop an area or build, they need to have a sustainable architecture and construction, which is the key way to achieve energy efficiency. So even in the light they install, and also environmental stability. Some of them, the building has so many green areas, on the rooftop. So this is one of the things. Then we have renewable energy sources, where it is, widely discussed. And for example, we talk about clean energy, which is the signature resource necessary to achieve a green economy, because most of the economy, or we say the normal economy is based on fossil energy. So we use, for example, gas or petrol, oil to produce the energy. And that where we can have these economic activities. But when we talk about green economy, we are talking about renewable energy, we are talking about solar energy, we are talking about wind energy. So their investment in these renewable energies is unnecessary. Then we talk about sustainable development or sustainable management of resources, how we manage resources. In a green economy, everyone keep, I can say, a vigilant eye on ways to minimize it as much as possible. Here we do it by recycling resources and by aiming for a maximum sustainability. So, but we may also confuse. We know we are talking about the green economy, but sometimes also we talk about circular economy. What is the difference between them? The circular economy actually is an economic system aimed at eliminating the waste and the continual of the resources. For example, it contrasts with traditional linear economy, where we know make, use, and dispose. That is the traditional economy. But this circular economy, it tried to employ a closed loop system where the product or the materials that we use to produce the product or resources are reused, repaired, refurbished, and recycled. So when we produce, we reuse it, we repair it, then we refurbish it, then we recycle it. Goes like a cycle, rather than it's a linear. So I can see now the key difference. The green economy is more focused on sustainable development and environmental protection and social equity. But circular economy is more specifically focusing on resource efficiency and waste elimination, even though that there are some infraction between them and some that relationship between them. But I can say that a green economy is more bigger in terms of the focus. So how we benefit from this green economy? We have first thing encourages us for a more sustainable development, where green economy for ground setting and achieving sustainable development goals. And to achieve the sustainability, economic, for example, entities must put natural resources to a responsible use. And if we look at the SDG Sustainable Development Goal, there is one which I was taking 12, SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and responsible production and consumptions. So when we do this responsible use or responsible produce and consume, we ensure both the current and future generation can benefit from natural resources. Then also it helps us fight climate change by steering the economy in a greener direction. Government and private sector work together to achieve an effective climate change through, for example, lowering carbon emissions in both manufacturing and services sectors like transportation. Then we improve the ecosystem. Here we are talking about environmental protection in any economic activity. So we can help to protect biodiversity and ecologies across the planet. When we have this economic effective ecosystem service, we certainly help sustain the human, the animal, and the planet life. And also this is another one that is related to an SDG. Then we have increasing equity, where we talk about social aspect of the green economy. So we have green finance and green economic development seeks to ensure equitable outcome for all people through the global community, rather than we put the burden primarily on developing countries. So green economists actually insist that industrial countries should most of the way to make economic and energy transition to green technologies and to share this with developing countries. But actually, this is the case where actually it's like we are actually not advancing in that. So what is sustainable development? I'll talk about, give a general perspective about how to say green economy. So what is sustainable development, as all we know, is a holistic approach to growth and progress that meet the need of present without compromising the ability of the future. We need to use resources in an efficient way, in a responsible manner, so that our future generation can have their also resources is not depleted. And this sustainable development, it encompasses of three main pillars. The first one, economic growth. So we need to pursue a long-term economic progress that provide opportunities to all, but again, without harming the environment, without depleting our resources. Then we have social inclusion, where we need to ensure that the benefit of the development are distributed equally and equitably and inclusively to all society. And this is the most challenge when we talk about economic growth. If you have seen a literature review where I talk about economic growth, most of the problem, then when we have economic growth, actually a large portion of the benefit of economic growth goes to the top 20 people, where we call them the rich people rather than the poor. So in sustainable development, we try to make that balance where when we have progress in economic development, this benefit should be shared equally and equitably. Then we have the third one, the environmental protection, where we need to preserve the environment through responsible management of natural resources, responsible consumption, responsible production. And here we need to talk about the wants and the needs. And actually, this is an Islamic concept, because we as I'm talking about myself as a Muslim, and most of you, I believe there also are Muslim, as Indonesia is a Muslim country in the world in terms of population. So we should consider about what really we need, not what we want. But unfortunately, most of people, sometimes they buy based on their desires, what they want. I want 3 handphones, but actually we need only one. So this is what the teaching of this sustainable development come to in. So how this green economy and sustainable development are interconnected. So I will go very fast, but later you can ask a question if you don't understand some of the point. So the green economy and sustainable development are deeply intertwined, where the green economy provides practical pathways to achieve the goal of sustainable development. So from the green economy, we need to go to the sustainable development. So the green economy is actually as the core. And here we focus on environmentally friendly and socially inclusive economic practices. So the principle of the green economy directly support actually the objective of sustainable development. How? The first one, we have the mutual goal of sustainability, where both green economy and sustainable development aim to create an economy that supports human well-being and ecological health. So green economy here focus on what? On practical strategy, while sustainable development provide the overarching framework to achieve that practical strategies. Then we have economic and environmental synergies, where green economy activities such as renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, here we promote both the economic growth and environmental protection, because we are producing more, but at the same time, what we are doing, we are preserving our environment, we are preserving our resources. Then we have social equity and inclusion, that's now I talk about it, where in the green economy emphasize on social inclusiveness, where we ensure that economic growth benefits all, particularly marginalized and vulnerable population, which is actually what is the core objective of sustainable development. And in the next slide, we will see that interconnection, how it goes. Then we will have resource efficiency and management, where both, I would say, advocate for efficient and sustainable use of natural resources. Why? Because we want to ensure a long-term ecological balance and economic viability. Then we have policy integration and governance, which is also one part of sustainable development, where policies where we promote the green economy, such as carbon pricing, green subsidies, later we are going to talk about them. It is also aligned with sustainable development goals policies, where we create a cohesive approach for growth and sustainability. Then we have a global and local impact, where the actions at the local level, the green economy, such as community-based renewable energy project, or we are talking about non-governmental organizations that they have, I would say, activities related to environmental protection. These all contribute to the global sustainable development by reducing the carbon footprint and promoting sustainable livelihood. So, what are the principles of green economies and how they are related to sustainable development goals? So the first thing we need, as we said, we have low carbon emission. So we need to minimize the carbon footprint through renewable energy, energy efficiency, and low carbon technology. So if we look this, we can find this is related actually SDG 7, which is affordable and clean energy, SDG 13, which is climate action, and SDG 9, which is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Then the second, resource efficiency, which is just now we explained about it, where we optimize the use of natural resources to reduce the waste and enhance our productivity and efficiency. And this is also, as I say, linked to SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and production. To be responsible, how much we produce and how much we consume, means that we produce only how much we need, not how much we want. And we consume only how much we need, but not how much we want. But that is a difficult part, because companies are profit seeker. And if they know that by producing more, getting more profit, they will do. So that is a challenge. Then we have the second, it is also this resource efficiency linked to SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, and again, SDG number 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Then we have social inclusiveness. Again, here we issue, as I said, the economic benefit share equitably and equally to all society. And this also linked to SDG 10, reduce inequality, SDG 1, the most important, no poverty, and also SDG 8, decent work and economic growth, because when we have economic growth must be shared equally. Then we have sustainable growth. We need growth, but we need it sustainable. Economic activity should be environmentally sustainable and viable in the long term, not only in the short term. So how this connected to SDGs? By SDG 8, which is decent work and economic growth, SDG 15, life and land, and SDG 14, life below the water. Then we have pollution prevention, where we prevent pollution by adopting a cleaner production process and minimizing environmental impact. Again, linked to SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, where we build, houses or cities. Then we have SDG 3, good health and well-being. Because if we reduce the pollution, especially air pollution, our society will be healthy. Then number 6, SDG 6, which is clean water and sanitation. Then we have biodiversity conversation, where we need to protect and enhance biodiversity and recognize the intrinsic value of ecosystem. And this is linked to SDG 15, life and land, and also SDG 14, life below water. Then we have resilience and adaptation. Another, I think, last, which is we build resilience to environmental, economic, and social shocks. You know, we are living in now climate change, right? We always hear about these flood, earthquakes, you know, that we call them shocks or disaster hazards. So most of the time we are dealing with these kind of things. So we need to build societies that are resilient. They can adopt and adapt those coping strategies, risk management strategies, risk mitigation strategies. So this including adapting to climate change. So here we link to SDG 13, climate action. We link to SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities. Also, we can link to SDG 1, no poverty. If we are or we have a society that are resilient to those type of shocks, then it will protect them from being fall into poverty. So you can see here also the link. So what are the strategies for integrating a green economy principle into the national and the international development plan? Of course, if you want to have a green economy, a workable, I can say, a green economy, we need to have strategies. That strategies, there are 2 levels. We have the national level in the country, let's say in Indonesia. There are also the international level, because Indonesia is not only the country in this world, but we have neighbor countries, we have other worlds we need to deal with. So we need to have this sort of agreement and MOUs to tackle all these issues. So at the policy and regulatory framework, the first thing, we need to have maybe a green taxation at the national level, where we implement taxes on carbon emission and pollutant to discourage environmentally harmful practices. There are so many European countries doing that. Then we have subsidies and incentives. We give financial incentives for renewable energy projects for companies that really invest in solar energy, whatever energy, whatever environmentally friendly production process. Then we have environmental regulations, where we enforce a stringent environmental regulation to control pollution, to protect the natural habitat, and to promote sustainable resource use. But actually, in developing countries, actually, this is the weakness here. Most of our environmental regulations are not they are there, but in terms of implementation, regulations are there, are not that really strong. So, but when I talk about international level, so we are talking, as I said, about international agreements, where we need to strengthen a global environmental agreement such as we have, for example, most of you heard about the Paris Agreement, and those agreements, they need to set the binding target for the emission. So we can say, because it's not fair, some countries, they are producing more and polluting more. So they have the responsibility to do more in order to prevent the environment, compared to those countries that their economies, they still and they develop, and actually they don't have that heavy industry. Then we have the second, we need to harmonize standard, means that we develop and implement international standards for sustainable production, maybe for eco-labeling, green certification. So for example, we have this, the ISO 14001, like name environmental management. We have the ISO 50001, energy management. We have the European Union Eco Label. We have Energy Star. I think these international levels, when we use them, all of them, they help us actually to prevent the environment and to promote economic growth, in the same time reduce and minimize, the environmental harms and diversity. Then we have economic and financial instruments. When we go to the national level, so we are talking about green bonds. We issue a green bond to finance project with a positive environmental impacts. For example, I say renewable energy infrastructure, give green bonds. Then we also need to foster collaboration between the public sector and the private companies to invest in green infrastructure and technology. And especially here, we're talking about university and industry. We do a lot of research, but sometimes that research does not really translate it to, how to say, a green product. And especially in developing countries. In developed countries, yeah, they have, because they have a lot of financial support. Then in international level, we have a global green fund, for example. We can support and contribute to international fund, such as the Green Climate Fund, or we call it GCF. Also, we can have sustainable development financing, where we can align international development aid with the green economy principle. And here we need to prioritize funding for projects actually that promote sustainability and resilience. Then we have education and capacity building, which is very important, because economic growth or sustainable development without education and without building our capacities, it also does not make sense. So we need to educate our societies about the environmental. So thus everyone knows his responsibility to the environment, to the biodiversity. So here we need to incorporate this environmental education in school curricula to raise awareness about sustainability from the early stage. Then also we need to give training to workforce, to students about green skills, training programs to prepare them for job in the green economy. Then we have second one, capacity building, where we provide training and technical assistance, for example, to government officials, to the businesses, to the workers, to the communities, in order for them to implement and manage green economy initiative. At the international level, we need to have knowledge sharing, where we can facilitate international knowledge and exchange the best practice through global network platform. For example, we have this South-South cooperation. We can support that South-South cooperation to share our experience and innovation among the developing countries. Then also we need to provide technical assistance. So developed countries, they have advanced technology. By right, they should take the responsibility to offer the technical support and capacity building programs to countries that are transitioning to the green economy, including those developing countries. So the area that really the developed countries, they need to support, like Germany, in terms of renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, resource management. So this is all things that we need to have assistance from developed countries. Then we have also research and innovation. As a university, we are all from the university. What is our job? So as a researcher, I myself am working a lot. I have most of my project now is about sustainable development, about digital transformation, about digital economy, about green economy, because that is our responsibility. So we need to invest in research and development for green technologies, sustainable practices, climate resilience, climate change. We need to encourage our staff, academic staff, our students, to focus on sustainability issues. And those students, they are in there in the theater. You are the future generation. You are going, to hold that responsibility. So from now, you need to have the mindset of thinking of these all green things, sustainability, resilience. Then also we need to build innovation hubs, because without innovation, we cannot also advance. How we are going to have these all green technologies or digital technologies if we don't innovate? And this is, you can see here, the difference between the developed and developing countries. While in developed countries, they have invested a lot in innovation. They will spend billions in innovation compared to developing countries. So we need to establish those innovation hubs and need to give a support to the startup and enterprises, in order for them to develop these green technologies. Then in international level, we have the global research collaboration. We need to promote international research collaboration. And this is what I think what we are doing now. We are sharing knowledge about green economy between Malaysia and Indonesia. So we need to have this research collaboration on sustainability challenges, sharing data, expertise, resource. So, for example, a major green economy initiative that has been undertaken by the United Nations Environment Program, we call it UNEP, and they are working actually on related indicators with OECD. They are cooperating to find indicators for these sustainability and green economies. So this is international collaboration. Then we have technology transfer. So those who have technologies like Germany, China, US, they should take the responsibility to share these technologies to facilitate the transfer of the green technologies from developed to developing countries. But of course, there need to be a negotiation between countries to the higher level. Then we have also shareholders engagement and public participation. At the national level, we have this what we call multi-shareholder dialogues, where we engage diverse shareholders, including the business, civil society also. Indigenous communities, in Malaysia, we call them Orang Asli. I'm sure maybe in Indonesia, maybe the same name, Orang Asli, or something like that. Local governments, they should all together, be engaged in this, how to say, development and implementation of economic or green economy policies. Then we have public participation. So we need to encourage public participation in decision-making process through consultation, community forums, participatory planning methods. But unfortunately, most of developing countries cannot do that. Some developed countries, they do, like in Chile, like in Germany, like in Denmark. Most of the policies that they implement, they must first get a vote from the public participation. Public will participate in designing of that policy. So these are the things that the developing countries we need to work on. So in international level, so we talk about the global forum, as I say, we support the global forum and conferences that bring together, stakeholders from different countries to discuss and promote green economy activities. And also we have civil society partnership, where partner with international NGOs and civil society organization to advocate for and implement the green economy. Then we have a monitoring and evaluation. As I said just now, we need to develop first thing the indicators and the metrics. Why we need to develop them? Because we need to use those indicators and metrics to monitor the progress toward our green economy goal. These including environmental, economic, and social indicators. So some indicators, for example, I think there are something like we call Eurostat has launched its, they call it I Grow Green initiative, where it is an assessment framework to identify the country's specific challenges that promote a more resource efficient Europe. So each country, they will see what is the index of this I Grow Green for each country. Then they will see what is the challenge and how this could be solved. Then we have regular reporting. That is very important. Now we're talking about ESG, right? If you hear about environmental and social governance reporting for companies. In Malaysia, they started initiating, and the companies now, they are not mandatory, but they encourage to report, but it is going to be mandatory. But in developed countries, companies are mandatory to report this ESG. So this reporting where we implement a mechanism for regular reporting and transparency in the green economy. If let's say university, we need to use energy, we need to use water. So we need to report how much, what our initiative in order to reduce that consumption and in order to generate electricity from renewable energy. For example, in campus, Prof. Muhammad Henry visited us. I'm not sure if he's seen that is aware. We have, for example, parking with a solar panel. We have on the roof solar panel. So there is a huge investment in that, so that we in the campus generate this electricity from renewable energy. And this is where we will report in the annual report to see how much we are contributing to that. Then in international level, we have a global reporting standard where we support development for global standard. We have international peer reviewer where we participate in international peer review process to share experiences and challenges that we face and how we provide solution and successes in implementing those green economy strategies. So that I put it on the national international level based on the first, I think we put it based on strategies in national and international, right? Now, if we want to put it as a sector-specific approach, how could this help? So we can have renewable energy, right? Actually, I choose 4 sectors. Renewable energy means that in the national level or national strategies, we have policy support. We design the policy or we implement the policy or policies that support the development of renewable energy. So, for example, in Malaysia, they used last time feed-in tariff. And now they still use another system where you can install solar panel in your house, then they connect that one to the main grid. We call it TNB, Tinaga Nasional Berhad, and there your bill will be less, how much you will use your own energy. But before, they use this, what we say, feed-in tariff, where actually you sell your excess of energy to the TNB. So Germany also, they are using that. Then we need to infrastructure development, where we need to invest in renewable energy infrastructure, including wind farm, solar panels, grid modernization, and so on. Then we need to have research and development. We talk about that. So we say we need to fund R&D for advanced renewable technologies. International, we talk about technology transfer, and we talk about global initiative. Then the second sector, we talk about sustainable agriculture. And most now people, they talk about organic agriculture, they talk about vertical farming, they talk about what you call urban farming. So the first one, we talk about agroecology practices, where we promote agroecological practices that enhance biodiversity, soil health, water management, for example, crop rotation, for example, organic farming, where we protect the soil because we are not using pesticides and those chemicals. And we also may have what we call this integrated pest management. Then we support smallholders. Like in Malaysia, most of the farmers are smallholder farmers. So they need technical support. We need for them technical and financial support to adopt to this sustainable practice, because investing in those sustainability projects is the main issue, where the investment need a certain amount of huge, I can say, money for smallholder farmers. So we need the support. Then we need to talk about the supply chain transparency, where we need to provide also and encourage transparency and sustainability in agriculture supply chain through certification programs. And so many countries now, they have a barcode. You go and scan it, you can see, the history of that product from where they plant it, how it is produced, how it is harvested, how it is transported. So you can see if it is green or no. Our responsibility, if we know that by right, that this product is not sustainable, we should not buy it. And that where we are going to, force or oblige those farms or those companies to adopt actually the green economy initiative. So international strategies, we talk about global partnership, we talk about research collaboration, which is I'm not going to repeat. Then we have another sector which is very important, waste management. We are over 8 billions, in this earth, right? And going soon to be 9 billions. We have a lot of waste. So how we manage those waste, that is good, the most important question. So waste reduction policies, where we implement policies that aim at reducing waste generation, such as we ban, for example, a single-use plastic. And this is in Malaysia, there a lot of effort, doing on that. Now we have so many days, non-plastic days. I think starting with 1 day a week, now we have 3 days a week. You go for shopping, you need to take your bag with you, or you buy from them, or we call it recycle bag. So no more plastic. So this is a good initiative. Also, we need to maybe give some incentive for recycling. You can see in the picture here. I've been in Germany. There is one machine. You put the bottles, you get €1. So this type of initiative, it will encourage us to don't just throw the bottles, but we need to recycle them. Then we have public awareness campaign. Also, we talk about it. We conduct public awareness campaigns to promote waste reduction, recycling, and proper waste disposal, especially electrical and electronics, like handphones, smartphones, tablets, and so on. So international, also we talk about global agreement, knowledge exchange. Then what are the policy instruments that actually facilitate the transition to a green economy? Because every country, including ourselves, we already understood what does mean a green economy, but to transit from the traditional economy to the green economy, that is the challenge, because it needs resources, it needs planning, it needs strategies, it needs knowledge, it needs technology, it needs infrastructures. So let's see how this can be done. The first thing is we need to have a carbon tax, a very clear carbon taxes. Carbon taxes, as you say, are levies imposed on a carbon content of fossil fuel. If you are a company producing whatever, computer, whatever, you pollute more, you pay more taxes, higher taxes. So what those companies now obliged to do, they need to install, for example, an instrument that absorb that pollution. For example, CO2 emission. Okay, you can see in the picture. So many companies, they will install equipment here that can absorb that smoke, go out. So that is, so what we do is we have these taxes. The higher taxes means on these emissions, then those companies, they need to invest in the technologies to reduce the carbon and CO2 emissions. So what is the impact on sustainable development? We will have, when we have carbon taxes, that means we reduce the emission. So we will have environmental protection. So we will have economic efficiency because we analyzing the internal cost of carbon emission, and here carbon taxes will lead to more efficient resource allocation. Then we have also revenue generation. We get money. So this revenue generated from the carbon taxes, actually we can use it to fund the renewable energy project. So we can use that revenue to support other maybe SMEs that they have project in renewable energy, sustainable development project, a green project. So it is in 2 ways. An example, Sweden, they imposed carbon tax in 1991, which significantly reduced its carbon emission, while again they maintain the economic growth. In British Columbia, in Canada, they implemented what we call a revenue neutral carbon tax in 2008. And this tax, actually, the revenue from this tax, actually, they return it to the citizens through lower income taxes. I will get the money from these taxes, I give back to the citizens, I give back to the companies, those are investing in renewable initiative. Then we have green subsidies. So the green subsidies are financial incentives provided by government to support environmentally friendly practices and technologies. And these subsidies can make them, or can take the form of grant, tax credit, and rebates. So how this impact sustainable development? We promote renewable energy because if I know that I will have an incentive, all my project, I try to link all my project to sustainable project or renewable energy, for example. So these green subsidies can lower the cost of renewable energy technologies, making them more competitive with fossil fuel. Then so many other companies and people, they can use that. And we encourage innovation. And I get incentive from government, so I will have this desire to invest in R&D, in green technologies. And again, I can spur the innovation and accelerate the transition to the green economy. Then again, when I'm advancing in that, automatically, I am also contributing to the economic growth. So these green subsidies can stimulate economic growth by creating jobs in emerging green sectors. So an example, Germany, they have this Renewable Resource Act, EEG, where it, as I said just now, provide feed-in tariff for renewable energy. And this significantly actually increased the share of renewables in the energy. In Germany, actually, they have a high percentage of renewable energy compared to the total energy, I mean, in terms of production. We have in the United States also, the federal government also offered tax credit for solar and wind energy installation, and this boosted the adoption of these technologies. Then we have the regulatory framework. That is very important. If we don't have a very clear regulatory framework, then we can say that our effort may not be successful. So regulatory framework consists of the law and regulation that mandate specific environmental standards and practices, and this can include emission limits, renewable energy targets, waste management regulation. So how it impacts sustainable development in terms of environmental standard? So this regulatory framework ensures that business adhere to environmental standards where they need to reduce the pollution and conserve the natural resources. Market certainty, where clear and consistent regulation can provide certainty for a business and also encourage long-term investment. Then we have public health, where this regulation that limit pollution, for example, and waste contribute to improve the public health. So example here we have the EU emission trading system, where it is a cap and the trade system. For example, there is 10 companies. Each company, I will give her 10 units of pollution. So I will have only 100 unit of pollution. And those, they can trade. Those, some of them, they use only 5. You still have extra 5. He can give to another company, maybe it use 15. So they can trade on that. We have China, where the government have implemented a strict regulation on the industrial pollution and set an ambitious renewable energy target for as a part of the 5-year plan of the economic development in China. I think you heard about that in the news 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So what is the role of governance and institutional framework in implementing policies efficiency? The first thing, we need to have strong institutions where the importance of those strong institutions is because an effective governance requires this strong institution capable of designing, implementing, and enforcing policies. So those institutions must have a clear mandate, adequate resources, and skilled personnel to carry out their functions. So what the strategy we use here, we use capacity building. As we said, we invest in the capacity building of the institution to enhance their technical expertise and the operational efficiency. Then we will have institutional coordination, where we need to foster the coordination among the different government agencies to ensure a cohesive approach to the green economy policies. So I can give an example here. We will have the Danish Energy Agency, where they coordinate the country energy policies, including renewable energy and efficiency programs, contributing to the Denmark leadership in clean energy. We all know that Denmark is leading on that. Then we have transparent and inclusive decision. It is important because it makes process build trust and ensure that policies reflect a diverse stakeholders' interests, including those of marginalized communities. So what are the strategies? The strategies is public participation. We engage the public, the business, the civil society in policy making, and we access to information. So we need to ensure that information about environmental policies are access to everybody. The example we have, Netherlands, they have polder model, and this polder model involves extensive stakeholder consultation in policy making, particularly in environmental and land use planning in Netherlands. So public must, contribute to that decision. Then we have monitoring and enforcement. An effective implementation of green economic policies require a robust monitoring and enforcement mechanism. So what are the strategies? We have compliance mechanism, means that we develop a clear procedure for monitoring the compliance for environmental regulation and standard. Then we will have a performance indicator. As I mentioned previously, we need to establish indicators that and metrics to assess how much the impact of these policies on sustainability. Then example of that, we have United Kingdom, where they have the Environment Agency that monitors and enforces compliance with environmental regulations, ensuring that business adhere to pollution control standard. Then we have international cooperation. I already explained it, where many environmental challenges are global in nature and require international cooperation. And this collaborative effort enhance the effectiveness of national policies and leverage global expertise and resources. So we only talk about multilateral agreement, like Paris Agreement. We talk about technology transfer. So yeah, so we have this international treaty that brings together all countries to combat climate change and accelerate action towards the low carbon future, which is the Paris Agreement. Then also we have an economic impact of a green economy initiative. We have job creation, actually boost the employment by creating a new job in renewable energy, energy efficiency, sustainable agriculture, waste management. Example, renewable energy, where this sector is labor intensive and has seen substantial job growth. Then we have what we call energy efficiency, where jobs are created in this sector, including, for example, building for energy efficiency, manufacturing energy efficient appliances, conducting an energy audit. So Germany, they have this energy ready or energy transition initiative, where they have created hundreds of thousands of jobs in the renewable energy sector, particularly in the wind and solar power industries. Then we have economic diversification. Green economy initiative promote economic diversification by reducing the dependence on fossil fuel and developing new industries. So we have also the example, we have renewable energy market, as we say, countries investing in renewable energy, diversify their energy sources, reducing vulnerability to fossil fuel. You know, the price of oil always ups and downs. So when you have a good renewable energy investment, then you reduce that impact. We have sustainable agriculture, as we say, we diversify into sustainable agriculture practices that can open new market for organic agriculture, for vertical farming, for urban farming. We have, for example, United Arab Emirates, where they are investing heavily in renewable energy to diversify the economy away from oil dependency. They have a lot of oil, but they want to diversify the economy. Okay, then we have innovation, how it's impact the transition to green economy, also drive innovation in technologies, the process, the business model. So we will have clean technologies, where innovation in clean technologies such as advanced battery storage, smart grid, carbon capture and storage are all crucial for the green economy. Then we have sustainable business model, where we need to develop new business models like circular economy, just now I explained, right? Where we focus on recycling, reusing, reducing the waste. Then we contribute to economic growth and we contribute to sustainability. Case study here, all of us know Tesla car, right? Tesla innovation in electric cars and battery technology have revolutionized an automotive industry and for further innovation. Now also we have the China brand that compete with Tesla, which is BYD, Beyond Your Dreams. They are, I think, now the larger producer of cars. But again, I have some observations on these cars. Yes, electric cars are good and they are not polluting when we see, because it's not using fossil oil. But actually, for the current situation, they are polluting because why? When we need to charge this car, when we go to a petrol station and we plug whatever in our house, the problem is most of all the electricity generated, the big portion is from fossil oil. So actually, even now, we have electric car, but actually they are also indirectly contributing to environmental degradation. They are producing also CO2 emission because we are using electricity. So for me, those electric cars are workable only when we can say that more than 50 or 60% of our energy is produced from renewable energy. Then we can say that those electric cars and battery technology and storage are efficient. But for me, for the the current situation is still not yet. And what is the social impact of green initiative? We have poverty reduction, which is already I mentioned at the beginning of sustainable development. Green economy initiative can contribute to poverty reduction by providing sustainable livelihood, particularly in rural and reserve area. How? By renewable energy access of green renewable energy solutions, such as solar home system, especially those who are living in mountains in very difficult to reach area, like in Sabah and Sarawak in Malaysia. So they a lot depend on renewable energy. Sustainable agriculture, where smallholder farmers are adopting sustainable practices, and also they can improve their productivity and generate more income. And this is will lift them out of poverty. For example, case study, we have Kenya. Kenya adopted the solar energy in rural area, which enable the small businesses to operate efficiently, and they boost local economies and reduce their poverty. Then we have the second one, health improvement. We also talk about it. The economic initiative lead to health improvement because we reduce pollution. So when I go and breathe outside, that air is clear. So we have air quality, we have access to clean water also. Case study, we will have China, where they afford to reduce the air pollution through investment in renewable energy and stricter environmental regulation, have significantly improved the air quality and public health of major cities. And you know, in China, if you visit China sometimes, some of the peak days, you will see everything fog because of the pollution. There's a lot of industries there. So China now is working on that to increase the quality of the air. Then we have a social equity, as we said. The green economy initiative can also enhance social equity by ensuring that the benefit goes to all. How? Inclusive job creation. Then we have also affordable energy access, as we explained. So we have an example. For example, in South Africa, they have this renewable energy independent power producer procurement program, where they include social equity criteria to ensure that local communities benefit from renewable energy project, not only the rich people. Then in the environment,
Prof. Sinatsky,
yeah,
I think I will inform the time. The duration is more or less 10 minutes left.
okay, sure. I'm almost done.
Thank you.
Okay. Then in the environment, we talk about climate mitigation, we talk about energy efficiency, we talk about sustainable transportation. So we explain about this Germany Energy program. In California, they have this emission standard where there are strict vehicle emission standard, and they have a cap and trade program also, you know, to help lower the greenhouses emission. So also it will enhance biodiversity by the habitat protection. And also we will have sustainable agriculture. We have conservative area. This interesting one is the Costa Rica Forest Conservation, where the payment for ecosystem service PES programs have led to widespread what we call reforestation and biodiversity recovery. And also there is the European Union Natura 2000 network, which is a network of a protected area aimed at conserving Europe's most valuable and threatened species and habitat. Then we have a better resource management. We talk about circular economy, sustainable water management, responsible mining, responsible production, responsible consuming. So we have Japan Recycling Initiative, where Japan extensive recycling programs reduce waste and promote efficiency. We have also Australia water management, where they implement water efficient technologies and policies to manage scarce water and resource in many regions. So contributing along sustainability, we have the most important things: mitigate climate change impact. We need to lower emission, which is the greenhouse gas emissions. Also climate adaptation, where we practice such as sustainable agriculture, water management, biodiversity, conservation, all this build resilience to climate impact and help communities to adapt. Then we have preserving the ecosystem services. We have ecosystem health, which are more resilient to environmental changes and can contribute to provide, I can say, an essential service like clean air and water, fertile soil. Then we have disaster risk reduction. Also, I've been explained that, where the natural system like wetland, forest, mangrove act as buffers, I can say, against an extreme weather event, and therefore we reduce the risk of severity of natural disaster. Then I have promoting social and economic stability, because we have food and water security, sustainable, for example, agriculture practices and efficient water management ensure reliable access to the food and water, and therefore reduce the risk of conflict and displacement caused by resource scarcity. Especially in African countries, we have sustainable livelihood, where the green economy practices create job and economic opportunities that are environmentally sustainable, and therefore we contribute to the long-term economic stability. Then challenges. What are the challenges and barriers that integrate green? We have political challenges. We have lack of political will. Short-term focus. Politicians usually prioritize short-term economic gain rather than the long run, because they need election. Then we have resistance from interest groups, especially companies, big companies, that they are more business on the fossil fuel. They try to stop that innovation. What is the solution? We need to have a public awareness, and we have to have cross-party consensus. Then we have inadequate governance framework. As I explained, the governance framework is very important. Most of developing countries, they have fragmented regulations. We don't have a cohesive policies that coordinate among various government. Then we have weak enforcement, I explained. So what are the solutions? We need to have an integrated policy framework. We need to develop a comprehensive and integrated policy framework that align our national, regional, and local effort. And we need to strengthen institutions, where invest in capacity building for institutions responsible for implementing and enforcing green policies. What are the financial challenges? As we know, high initial cost, upfront investment, as I say. These green technologies need a huge amount of financial resources, and we have limited access to finance, where small and medium-sized enterprises and in developing countries often face difficulties to access because they don't have something as a guarantee. Then how we solve that by financial incentive, where we provide subsidies, tax incentive, and grant to a lower and financial barriers to adopt these technologies. Then we need to have a green financing mechanism, where we develop and promote the green bond, the green banks, and other financing mechanisms. And also we have a perceived economic risk, where with the market uncertainty, investors may perceive green project as risky due to uncertainties. They don't know what is the return. Then transition cost to transit from traditional to the green economy is a huge solution. We need to have risk mitigation tools to, for example, implement financial instruments such as guarantees and insurance to reduce the risk. And we need to phase transition plan to develop and implement a phase transition plan to gradually shift from a non-sustainable to a sustainable practice and minimize the risk. Then we have technological challenge. The first one, technological limitation, where we have lack of mature technology, especially in developing countries, and we have infrastructure requirement. Green economies need huge infrastructures, and therefore we need to invest more in R&D, and we need to develop more infrastructure. Then we have knowledge and skill gap, lack of expertise, especially in developing countries, and we have limited awareness for public about this green economy. So what are the solutions? We need to have an education and training programs, and we need to include this in our education syllabus in our university. And also we need to have a knowledge sharing platform, where we need to establish platform like this to share the best practices and technologies and innovations. Then what are the potential solution? Almost done there. We will have policy regulatory framework. For example, we need to have a clear policy signals where we provide a clear and consistent policy to encourage a long-term investment. We need to strengthen environmental regulation. Financial mechanism, we need to have a private-public partnership to foster collaboration between them and to invest in green projects. Then we have innovative financing models where we explore innovative financial models such as blended finance, which combine public and private funding. Then we can have also technological innovation where we need to support for the startups, especially SMEs, the working on innovation and green technologies, we give them incentive. Then collaboration and network where we encourage this type of collaboration between research institutions like universities, industry, government agencies, and we try to drive this technological advancement and innovation. Then we will have capacity building and education where we need to have professional training programs. We develop specialized training programs for professionals in the sectors such as renewable energy and also, as we say, public awareness. Then we have international collaboration. We're talking about it, global partnership, development assistance. So the last will be talking about the global and regional perspective. Like in Germany, we talk about this energy transition. Where renewable energy, they have feed-in tariff. We have Costa Rica. The interesting thing in Costa Rica, 25% of the country, what we say, protected area is designed or designated as a protected area. And the most important thing is this renewable energy in Costa Rica, nearly 99% of Costa Rica electricity come from renewable energy. And reports say in 2015, the Central American nation, which is Costa Rica, made global headlines when it generated 100% of its electricity from renewable energy for 75 days in a row. So that is a good model to follow. South Korea, where we have the green growth strategy, where South Korea adopted national strategy for green growth, where they emphasize on low carbon technologies. Then we have in European Union, we will have the Green Deal. In EU, that is a roadmap to make its economy sustainable by turning climate and environmental challenges into opportunities. So these all models that we as developing countries, we can learn from. What is the future direction? We need to advance renewable energy technologies. So next generation of the solar. We need to have energy storage solutions, and we need to have smart grid, microgrid. But again, when we talk next generation solar, we need an advancement in solar, what is photovoltaic PV technology. But again, we cannot talk about energy storage solution if we don't have this, because if we store energy from a fossil-based energy, that we didn't advance. Then we have circular economy, which is a part of the green economy, and especially in sustainable consumption, where we need to have the emphasis on extending the product life cycle. We will say we repair, refurbish, remanufacture, reuse, and this is all will minimize the waste. Then we will have sharing economy, expansion of sharing platform for goods and services to optimize resources. We're talking about Uber, Grab, public transportation. We have bio-based materials with development of bio-based and biodegradable materials that they dissolve themselves and they will not harm the environment, especially in terms of plastic. Then we have nature-based solution and ecosystem restoration, where we have natural carbon sequestration, where we need to scale up the nature-based solution like reforestation, soil carbon sequestration to mitigate the climate change. Then we have also a blue carbon initiative where we have protection and restoration of the coastal ecosystem, such as mangrove, seagrass, salt, and so on. Then we have urban green, where we need to integrate a green infrastructure in urban area, including green roof. There's a lot now is doing on that. The last one, which is sustainable agriculture and food system, where we have regenerative agriculture, where we need to adopt what we say regenerative farming practice, such as agroforestry, conservation agriculture, organic farming to improve the health. Now they are talking about this alternative protein. Some in Malaysia, they are selling, you go and buy the food, they will tell you, for example, meat actually, but it's protein meat from plant, it's not real meat. So that innovation in plant-based and cell cultured meat alternative to reduce the environmental footprint, because producing too much meat also contributing to the, how to say, the emission. Then we have the precision agriculture, when we need to utilize the digital technologies, sensor, data analytics to optimize resource use, increase productivity, and to minimize environmental impact of agriculture. So that's all what I want to share with you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'm happy to share, to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Sinatsky. Please give applause for Prof. Sinatsky. Thank you for the clear presentation and lecture, Prof. Sinatsky.
Welcome.
We move to the second part of our agenda, which is discussion session or question answer session. Any questions from the audience? To begin with, I have two questions for you, Prof.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the first question is about how is the progress of the implementation regarding the green economies policy in Malaysia so far?
Okay.
Yeah, the second question probably I just.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The second question is what are small steps that we can do as a student or academic community to push and promote sustainable development? I think that's to begin with for this discussion. And please prepare the question from audience if there is some. Thank you, Prof. I think that's two questions so far.
Okay. The first, okay, the first question, if I'm mistaken, you say what is the progress of the green economy in Malaysia, correct?
Yes, Prof.
So okay, yeah. So actually, Malaysia is investing a lot in these green technologies, digitalization, and how to say digital economy, digital transformation, which is all a part. For example, they have this national policy in climate change. They have green technology master plan. They have renewable energy policy and action plan. They have some effort. For example, they also provide a lot of incentive to developers, especially in the how to say building houses, where those developers, they will have incentive, and they will give them a point where they use sustainable materials, where they use more environmentally friendly materials in the building, in the concrete, in the lighting. That one thing. The second thing, they are investing a lot in smart agriculture, smart vertical agricultures, and also organic farming. There is a lot of incentive provided to farmers on that also. And recently, for example, the government has an initiative, or we call it IESG, Industry, Environmental, Social, and Governance. And this IESG plan, they trying first to encourage industries, companies to report their contribution to the environment, to through the auditing. So from there, they because it starts from there, but within a few years later, they will start making as an obligatory for the companies. Means that companies they cannot operate if they don't achieve certain level of this ESG, which is environment, social, and government, which is we are talking about sustainability, we are talking about the green economy. So the effort is there. But again, there are a lot of also challenges because this effort needs a lot of financing, and most of the project needs a huge amount of financing, and where the challenges. So government trying to give some incentive to, for example, to companies to install solar panels to the roofs. There are those national companies or big corporate companies, basically most of them now they are producing more than 70% of the electricity from renewable energy because they have incentive of that. They have incentive in terms of taxes. They have incentive in terms of also investing in that. And another thing, in terms of the labeling, so most of the product now, if you come to Malaysia, you will find a sign that if it is recycled, if it is environmentally friendly, if the package can be reused. So a lot of effort being underway. Another thing, as I just explained, we have this is 3 days without plastic, where you go to shops, you cannot get the plastic, you need to take your own. So in order to reduce the amount of plastic, usage. This some of the initiative that we are Malaysia working on. Another thing they are trying to, which is I believe that the most important, to integrate digital transformation, digital economy, green economy, and what we say sustainable development goals, and including the ESG in our curricula. For example, in YOTA, now all of our programs, it must have the element of SDGs and ESG. So how the program or how the course is contributed to the environment, contributed to social, contributed to governance, contributed, to the green economy. So these are some of the initiatives. Yeah.
Thank you, Prof. So the next question I read from Zoom, Prof, dari Ibu Musdalifah, one of our lecturers here.
Yeah.
So the question is, in Banjarmasin or in Kalimantan Island especially, our area is very dependent on the mining sector, Prof. It's very contradictory to so-called green economy or development. Right? So what are the steps that we can take to minimize at least this effect from the mining sector?
Let me repeat again because I couldn't hear you very well. You say there is an area in Indonesia, right? Which is a mining.
Yeah, Kalimantan Island is very dependent on mining sector.
Okay.
Yeah. So the question is from Ibu Musda, what steps must be prepared or must we take to minimize the effect of the mining, this mining sector, or to achieve a zero carbon era?
Oh, okay. May I know what is the nature of the mining?
I think like coal.
Coal.
Yeah. So
okay.
I think it's
okay. Yeah. Okay. Actually,
in the
okay. This economy is. Okay. First, of course, the local government need to have, as I say, a clear framework. So when we do on mining, of course, we are first of the thing we are I can say polluting, and that pollution there is no way to get rid of it, but actually we can minimize it. So how to minimize it? we adopt, or we call this sustainable practices, right? When we use the mining, of course, we need to use, how to say, machines, right? This is what I believe. I'm not sure what exactly, but if let's say, of course, we need to use machine, we need to use electricity, we need to use. So one of the thing we try to, instead of using what we say this energy from fossil oil, so we need to use maybe energy which is renewable energy. Second, we need to reduce the emission, because when we do the mining, of course, the emission will increase. So how to utilize that? That I explained. So the mining owner, the company that own the mining, it must be obliged by regulation that they need to utilize what we say technologies that minimize these emissions. There is some what we say equipment that we can use to minimize that. The third, maybe in terms of how to say transportation of these mining product, whatever it is, an iron or coal or whatever. So how the way we transport it? So is it we also going we are using a way of transportation that also use for fossil oil based on petrol or with electrical car. So another thing that I can believe is that, because the question is a bit tricky, because it's actually, as I say, actually it is contradicting and it is polluting itself. But we always try to find ways how to minimize this pollution. So the only way is goes through developing technologies that serve us or minimize that impact in terms of the production, in terms of the transportation, in terms of the operation. So in here, at least we can offset, you know, which is, I know, as the question said, that it is very important for the economic area. I mean, for the well-being of the people. Maybe most of the people are depending on that. But as I said, there are always technologies that can be used in the term of the production, especially that minimize, not I say eliminate because it will be impossible, but that minimize the negative impact of that pollution. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof, for the answer. Okay, we move to the audience from, yeah, other questions from the audience? Please, sebutkan nama.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Let me introduce myself. My name is Siti Fatima Zahra from Department of Development Economy. So thank you for opportunity to ask a question. The transformation toward a green economy promises economic growth that is in line with high level of society welfare and environmental quality. But there are several issues related to green economy integration involving social and environmental aspects. Some of them cost investment, job adjustment, resource conflict, policy regulation, and environmental impact. And my question is how to deal with negative issue circulation in social.
Okay, if I got your question correct, You are talking about the negative impact of transitioning from the traditional economy to the green economy, correct? How we deal with those negative impact, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, thank you. That is a very good question. Of course, yeah, for any transition period, whatever it is in economy or social or environment, there is a cost to be bear, right? For example, by transitioning from what you say traditional economy, which is based on 100% fossil oil, to a green economy, which is based on something that is renewable energy, sustainable production and consumption. That transition period, it may have a negative impact, which is one of the things, as you say, we will have maybe a job loss for the other sector where we want to transfer. We will have maybe income loss from some of certain companies. Maybe the poverty will increase that in terms of social. Then we will have what we say a disruption maybe in some services because of that transition. So these all what we say are problems. How the solution? Okay, the solution is that we need to have, as you say, a very comprehensive plan, because the transition cannot happen within 1 day or 1 month or 1 year. It is a long term, to say, operation or process that every country must go through. So we cannot, for example, say, hey, tomorrow Indonesia, okay, no more fossil oil or no more mining, as we just talk about the mine, the island where there is the mining, because that will be a disaster for the economy and for the world system. So we need to go stage by stage. So in terms of the job, yes, when we do the transition from the traditional economy to the green economy, we will have some of the job will be lost. For example, those people they used, for example, to work in mining, they have no more job. And when we transit to renewable energy, basically renewable energy need some, how to say, expertise in order to work, let's say in solar energy or wind energy, not anyone. So those workers, where they need to go? So here the role of the government comes in, where we need to give or upskill or reskill, those people by giving them training, programs in order to readjust them to another, what we say, economic activities or economic sectors, because we cannot just keep them like that. So we're talking, for example, about we transit from the traditional agriculture, which is more of our farmers, especially smallholder farmers, are elderly, and they just need the traditional. They don't know the technology. But we are talking about the green economy, where we are using what we say this vertical farming, we are using this organic farming. It needs a lot expertise, and it needs a lot knowledge, because not everyone, they can use those sensors, they can use the data. So how now, what about those smallholder farmers? Means that we are not going to need them anymore? No. So again, so we need to have this type of programs and training to adapt them to the new, what we say, phase. So it's all about how we are going to make or building the capacity, whatever, if it is the employees or the expertise. The second thing is that now we need an investment. So that investment also, because, okay, some of, especially of developing countries, and the budget is very tight. And this transition requires, as I say, a huge financial resources. Now, if you want to invest more in renewable energies, you want to invest more in smart agriculture, or I would say organic agriculture, you need to have more money. So some of the countries, what they do, they may reduce some budgeting, for example, for education, for healthcare sector. So that is a problem because in that case, you are actually degrading the well-being of other peoples in order to transit. So instead to do that, you need to keep the budgeting for the other, what we say, crucial sectors. But at the same time, need to find a way how to generate more finance. For example, we will have a partnership with public and private. Instead, the money comes all from the government. I create a partnership with the private sector and make them as a shareholder for those projects. Then I will cut the budget for other sectors like healthcare or education that will be a disaster for the new generation to come. So this another thing. Third one, so when we will talk about what we say, the job or the skill, as just now I mentioned, remember that any technology actually, yes, it will. For example, digital economy, you're talking about the e-commerce now. So many jobs now, we don't need them. So doesn't mean that this transition is bad, because if you remember in 2000, before the internet boom, people all were worried about what would happen, for example, to typewriters, we don't need them now. What would happen to all this, like cashier, now you go and scan, you don't need a cashier in a store. So what would happen to those? But actually, history shows us that when the internet boom comes, actually, it generated more job rather than it's excluded certain job. So every technology or every transition, also it has a positive impact. So transition is go step by step, level by level, in order for government to actually can tackle, cope, and mitigate the negative impact of that transition rather than in one shot. So no need to worry about that. That will be automatically and with the effort of the government and other agencies to be, we say, they work on these strategies to reduce that impact. Thank you.
For the answers. I think we have still some questions.
Okay.
Good morning, Professor Sunachki.
Good morning.
Yes, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Annie. I come from Department Accounting, and I feel very interested with the topic, especially about the financial challenges. Since my major is managerial accounting, and in managerial accounting, yes, in managerial accounting, we also learn about the environmental costs. So if I talk about the environmental costs based on the Oxford Reference, so environmental costs as the cost of making sure that a company's activities do not damage the environment, and consists of 4 costs, which are environmental appraisal cost, environmental prevention cost, environmental internal failure cost, and environmental external failure cost. And in accounting, we report and disclose these costs, and we should to make the cost and benefit analysis from making all of these costs. And we assume that all of these costs are the investment for our companies to get a greater profit than today. Okay, so related to that, I would like to ask you, could you give us the case or perhaps the examples in Malaysia about this cost and benefit analysis in a company?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. Sunachki.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I'm not from accounting. I'm not sure that if I can answer this correctly. But what I know is that in any project, especially the bigger project, they go for this cost and benefit project to see the variability of the cost. But for the company level, I really cannot answer the questions because it will be more specific to accounting. My background in economics, so sorry for that. Yeah, so as I say, yes, I'm aware of the cost and benefit for the project or mega project that the government, initiate and to see the viability of the project and the benefit or the return in the long term, say over 10, 20 years of the project. And that one is not only in Malaysia, but all over countries in the world, they need to do the cost benefit analysis, including the companies, where in order to initiate the project, we need to do the costing. And you also, I'm sure all of you knows about the discounted also an interest rate, that involved when we talk about the present value and net present value of the project. And because mega project, whatever investment in renewable energy is going to take at least 5 to 10 years or 20, 30 years. So you need to discount your investment, and you need to count how much will be the interest rate and the present value of your money now, with the inflation, a lot of consideration that's what I know in terms of what we say in terms of sorry, in economic perspective of having the project and cost and benefit. But in terms of the company level, how they do things, I really am not sure. I'm so sorry for that. I cannot hear you, Nizan.
Yeah, thank you, Prof, for the answers. You'll have some questions from the audience? Yang laki-laki. We'll have some questions from the audience.
Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Faisal from Economic Development 2021. If you talk to expert in the sustainability space, they're aspirational, they're optimistic about the ability to attain carbon neutrality in the years 2050.
Yeah.
But it only resonates to no more than 50 to 16 to 20% of the population of the planet, whereas the remaining 80 to 85% of the population of the planet are still more worried about putting food on the table, including many of us in Indonesia, India, Nigeria, much less sub-Saharan countries. They're more worried about putting food on the table. They're not able to basically think in a modern manner. It takes being modern to be able to understand and embrace the narrative for sustainability. So, how does one define modernization? One simple metric is electrification. We take a look at India and Indonesia, the typical large developing economies, where electricity only to the extent of around 1,300 kilowatt hour per capita. In order for modernity or modernization to be attained as a nation needs to be electrified to the extent of at least 5 to 6,000 kilowatt hours per capita. And one begs the question, what would it take for India and Indonesia to go up from 1,300 kilowatt hours per capita to 6,000 kilowatt hours per capita at the rate that Indonesia can only produce 3,000 megawatts for power generation capability per years, and India 19,000. The answer is 100 years, much less Nigeria, which is electricity only to be extent of 160 kilowatt hours per capita. It will take 300 years for Nigeria to be a modern nation. Thereby, the clearly irreconcilable nature between the narrative of sustainability and that of development. I think to ask you about how we can actually reconcile interconnected these two differing narratives. That's what I call paradox of sustainability development. Thanks in advance.
Thank you, thank you. Your question is very long. And you're giving me a lot of information to process. Okay. I put it in that way. You are saying that I put it in Indonesia case. You are saying that the capacity of producing or generating electricity per capita is not enough, right? For Indonesia, and it will take, if I'm mistaken, you say 300 years to reach that. Is that correct, Mizan, right? That part, what?
Yeah, that's correct. I think
Correct.
that the SDG narrative is very elitist.
Yeah.
Only elites that understand that.
Yeah. So his question is now the paradox, how we are talking about this green economy and sustainability to achieve by 2050. By right, in Indonesia, you need like 300 years to achieve a sufficient electricity, right? So that's what he called the paradox, yeah. Interesting questions, yeah. Okay. Those are initiative, right? When we say United Nations or whatever, World Bank, they put all these agendas, by 2050, we reach those and this and this. Basically, just an estimation, right? I give you an example. In Malaysia, initially they want to be a developed nation by 2020. Then it was postponed to 2030. Then now maybe it's go to 2050. No, it's not that simple. But let's talk about the case of Indonesia. So if I ask the student, what do you think that Indonesia has as natural resources for renewable energy? And Indonesia is a tropical country, right? You have a lot of forests, you have a lot of waters also, and you have a lot of sun. And I think that which is the climate is similar to Malaysia. I've been in Indonesia several times, so I know the climate. So the way that go forward, that I can say that Indonesia can achieve that, not necessarily after 300 years, but I'm not sure exactly when, by investing in what we say hydraulic, hydropower and solar energy, because this is the two resources that Indonesia has really. So the things now, as I mentioned, what is the political will of the current and the future governments, if they are really willing to do that or no? Because as I explained, those investments, they need a huge finance. They need a huge funds. And for a country like Indonesia to have these funds, it have two ways: either to attract FDI, to attract other companies, those are leading in solar energy and hydropower, from Germany, from maybe China, from US, to invest. But again, there is a pros and a cons, because when you bring other international companies to invest, also basically also you are sharing your nation resources with them, or it goes in its own way, which I believe that will be a bit more difficult, because you need a lot of technology and you may be not really ready yet. So it will be depend on the political will, which way they want to go. But the clear way, it is already there because Indonesia has a lot of water, has a lot of sun. So, and nowadays, the solar panel, they are more efficient than they were 10 years and 50 years ago. Means that they are even increasing the efficiency and the productivity of that solar panels in generating electricity. So my view of that problem is that the only way that can achieve that level of per capita electricity, the same time achieving the sustainability for Indonesia is to go through renewable energy, which is solar energy and hydro energy. Then the investment, how you do it, that will be based on the political will that we'll discuss with what we say, the economists from Indonesia, including Prof. Henry is doing a lot of research on green economy and digital economy. So they can give their expertise on that. Other countries like Nigeria, like India, I think is going through that because India also now economic growth of India is growing. It's one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So I think they have achieved a lot in terms of electricity production and electricity accessibility to the people, especially in the rural area. So now they are also improving the technological in terms of solar energy. For Nigeria, as also you mentioned, Nigeria is a poor country, I can say, even that it is rich in petrol and oil, but also they are facing a lot of internal political instability, what we say, civil wars there. So that is the challenge for them. And the level of the corruption there is very high, where they jeopardize, all the initiative of this project. So I don't think that Nigeria is really ready yet, to go for this type of huge investment and transfer. It's still a long way. But I believe that in Indonesia, yeah, it's the right time since you already have the resources, you have also the expertise. So there is no excuses for Indonesia, I believe, that to don't achieve that within maybe, I can say less than 20 years from now, not 300 years. Maybe 20 years if it goes for that and utilize, maximizing the efficiency of these water resources and the weather, which is the sun, maybe 20 years, maybe even I tell you 10 years, you will achieve what you are expecting to achieve it in 300 years. No need for us to go for 300 years, trust me. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Hopefully it's not postponed anymore in 2050.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think we take one last question, Prof, from the audience. I think we have still some question. The last one. Ya, Irfan silakan Irfan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Okay, first thing first, I will say thank you for this opportunity. Maybe I discuss with you, I talk with you, but first thing I will introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Irfan Ariansyah from 2022 cohort. Maybe my question is just a piece of everything in the green economy is how, I'm sorry. In your opinion, how to build awareness and promote sustainable behavior among people in the green economy? Maybe especially like Malaysian society or Indonesian society. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Very, very interesting question. Yeah. Okay. Promoting this green economy. So we are talking about those all environmental sustainability, social equity, and economic growth. And nowadays, okay, there is a fact that this generation, or I call Gen Z or Z, a TikToker, correct? Social media is a lot. They listen to social media, then they listen to me what I'm talking now, or whatever the newspaper is written. That is a fact that we cannot run off, because I also have kids and I can observe them. So we make use of that social media to disseminate that information in a way that the new generation like it. For me, they don't like orders. If you tell him that, oh, you should not do that, you should do this, they may not like it. But we need to be a very innovative on how to deliver our message of sustainability, of a green economy to this generation. Making stories, short stories, in social media, real stories, making or highlighting the benefits, of doing particular things. Not necessarily must be start from a big project or something like that. I give you an example. If you go to the store, basically we don't care. I mean that I want to buy chocolate, I will just buy chocolate that I like. But any one of us, for example, have investigated how is chocolate being produced? And that is the question mark where most of our consumers, they don't take note. Give you an example, Apple, iPhone, very nice iPhone. Everyone want to have an iPhone, but do we know the story of how many workers have committed suicide while producing this iPhone? Working condition, and the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, went to Taiwan, where the manufacturing is there, right? And himself, look at that conditions, because it's already an international issue, right? Because workers, they were working more than 18 hours. So this is what I'm talking about, social equity. And what are the materials these iPhone or other phones that are made of? Chocolate companies, where they use cocoa from developing countries, from countries. Those people are working very hard and they sell it with very cheap price. And those chocolate companies, they are making huge profit. So if you want to buy an iPhone, whatever chocolate, have you thought of that? Have you thought what is the supply chain mechanism of this product? Have you thought of if this product using recyclable materials, packaging or no? Have you thought if this product, when it's produced, use renewable energy or no? So I went to a conference to give you first an introduction to come to the answer to UK last year in Cambridge. And one of the speaker was talking about this topic about the green economy, and he says that past 5 years, when he go for shopping with his wife, he always struggle because he need to wait for his wife like 1 hour to do the shopping. But he say no, it's vice versa. When he start working in a green economy and this sustainability efforts, when he go to buy, his wife wait for him. Why? He tell us because when I take the product, I will read the product, how it is, what is the ingredient, from where, because those developing countries, they already have the scan. You scan, you will know all the phases of the product, how it's produced. So he will say, if I know that this product does not use sustainable things, I will say, or environmentally friendly materials, I want to buy it. So in order to buy, for example, a bottle of a jam, he may stay half an hour, reading, this kind of things. So this is our responsibility then, how to deliver this message to the population. Means that it's not only about our practice where we take the plastic bag or not take the plastic bag, but what we want to buy also. Do you want to buy a house that use polluted materials, or you want to use that, or you want to buy a house that is made from environmental friendly materials? So that the things that we need to share to the new generation. And for me, the best platform is social media, including TikTok, WeChat, Facebook, Telegram, those where those generation they are attached to. You go and put this in curriculum, also good, but not enough. You want to put it in the TV. I doubt that there is now Z generation watch TV. I doubt. All of them with their smartphone and tablets. So social media is the platform for this generation. We like it or we don't like it. That is the fact. And there only where we can, I say, convey our message. But again, we have to be very careful conveying this message because this generation, they don't like orders. So the message must be conveyed in a way that gives him a moral story of practicing that or not practicing it. And I believe that if we succeeded in educating this generation, we will get the result soon, not then maybe 5 years, maybe less. We can start, gaining from that benefit. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, bro, for the answer. So I think the government should post more on TikTok, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've come to an end of this public lecture, Prof. So I think the last thing that I would like to ask from you, since most of audience here are undergraduate students, I would like to ask your advice to close this public lecture to the students. Yeah, what do they need to do, or do they need to improve their English, etc. Yeah, I think around that, bro.
Okay.
Recording in. Thank you.
So basically, you want a general advice to undergraduate students there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Bro.
Okay, for the career. Okay, first of the thing, my experience. I will share my experience. First of the things, do what you love, and not what people ask you to do. I mean, in terms of, of your career, I will start that because we are in university. Of course, when most of you when enter the university, some of you, yes, you choose your program that because you love it, you want to go for this. Some of you, your parents influence you. Some of you, your relative. But once you finish your program, you go for what you love. What is your goal? What is your aim? I mean, start from here. Why we are here first? To serve, correct? This nation, which is Indonesia. You have to love your country, of course. So how I'm going to serve it? So you need to look at the agenda that benefit all the Indonesian, and you need to be a part of it. So I believe that Indonesia is also aggressively working on the green economy and digitalization. I've been in Indonesia and I have seen the development, especially in terms of digital transformation. So you are now the future of that, and you will be leading on that. Not necessarily that you need to be in, linked to what we say in IT or computer programs, but you still can work, as we say, on this digitalization, work on economic, green economy, on sustainability. So that's one of the things that you need to look at. What is your aim and how you achieve it? And you have to stick to it, because if you have multiple aims, and jump from one to one, at the end, you're going to achieve nothing at the end because you are not. Second thing, don't scare of the failure. We all fail. I failed so many times also before I reach to what I am now. And I'm still learning. I'm still attending development programs. So learning process, if there is no failure, and I call it is not a learning process, there's something wrong with it. You have to fall down and stand up. So if you fail your exam or whatever, you fail on the project, don't scare. You have to see why is the cause of the failure and how I'm going to improve myself to be a better person. So that is the thing. Third thing, as you undergraduate student, time management, that's very important. And now, time management is very challenging because we have this thing with us. I don't know if you can see that, my phone. So you need to find a mechanism how to manage your time between your study, your research, your family, your friend, your community, you know, your society. There's a lot of things that can be done. Of course, sometimes, you know, it goes where difficult times, you know, but that one is just a periodic. So always you need to have a very clear time management for every day that what you want to do. And this is will increase your productivity and your efficiency. And at the same time, you are using less resources also, including your energy, how you manage your energy. Another thing is that you always aim for the high. You are there and your aim should be to be graduated with CGPA 4, not just pass. Because when you aim for CGPA 4, even if you don't achieve it, you are going to achieve 3.5, 3.8, still very high, right? But if you are saying that I just want to pass, passing is CGPA 2 or 2.5, and this is what we are going to get. Remember, when you go for a job, market, your CGPA talk, not you. Me as an employer, first time I see you, I don't know about you, but who tell me about you, your CGPA? If you have CGPA 4, so that CGPA telling me that you are smart, you are punctual, you are hardworking, you know, that's what it tell me, 3.54, right? But if you have CGPA 2 or 2.5, I may guess that you are lazy, you are not punctual, you always skip classes. So it's also, you tell me something about your personality or behavior. So don't put yourself in that scenario. But I'm not saying CGPA is everything. CGPA is one of the indicator that let me select you with others. If you have CGPA 4, another one 3.8, another one 3.5, I will select them. Then I will do the interview then to know about your personality. So why do you think that this employer, most important they want from you is not your level of knowledge? Yes, they will be very happy if your level of knowledge is very high, but it is not the first priority because knowledge can be obtained with training, you know, when you have something that they are looking for, which is your personality, how much you are ambitious, how much you can bear stress at work, how much you collaborate with your colleague when you do things, not only yourself, how much you share with your friend, how much you are outspoken, how much your presentation skills, especially, and your communication skills, that is very important. Because when you have these qualities, what we call soft skills, then the technical side, that is, can be obtained, you know, they will teach you how the system, because after you graduate from your university, UML, then sometimes you will say, some of our students, they will tell me, Prof, I actually went to university, to that company, but what I have studied is not that related at all. Actually, it's not that related. Of course, it's related, but some of the students, they cannot get. But what I want to say is that when you go to the company, there is another learning process there. So my most critical advice is that, as I say, your CGPA must be above 3, because then you will enter the selection criteria, because that will show your personality in general. Then you need to complete that with soft skills development. And I believe your university have these programs, right? Communication skills, presentation skills, teamwork. That is very important, and where companies really they are. I have been discussing with so many companies, especially when I visit my internship student, industrial training, and I ask them, what do you expect from our student? I'm talking about Malaysia. This is what they say. They want soft skills, but CGPA is a must, as I told you, because if you have 2, then you are in a risk that you not even enter the selection criteria. And you should know that companies, they are using software for that selection criteria. If you want to write your CV, you need to understand how the software works. I forgot what we call them, software, but those software, they use the AI, artificial intelligence, they read your CV, they're looking for keywords from the CV, and they put you in the ranking. One of them is CGPA, right? So that's my general advice. But remember, always do what you love, what you have been asked to do. Because if you do something that you don't love, you are not going to do it. And if you do it, you are not going to perfect it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Please give applause once again for Prof. Senatsky. Yeah. I would like to recall your advice. So there are 4. Prof. The first thing, we need to understand our aim. Kita harus tahu tujuan kita apa. Then the second thing, you said that don't scare to fail. Jangan takut gagal. So you need to be brave. Embrace the failure. The third thing, time management. Manage our time well, properly. And the last thing, we need to aim for CGPA 4.0 atau IPK 4 kata beliau. Karena kalau mimpinya 4 mungkin bisa dapat 3,5, 3,8 seperti itu. I think that's the general advice from Professor Senatsky. Thank you once again for attending this public lecture, Prof. On behalf of Department of Economics and Development Studies, Faculty of Economics, Business, Universitas Mangkurat. We would like to express our gratitude that you can attend and give lecture to us today. Thank you. Give time back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you so much.
Terima kasih kepada narasumber dan moderator atas waktu dan pemaparan, serta diskusi yang luar biasa, sehingga kita bisa mendapatkan banyak bekal untuk diaplikasikan dalam kehidupan sehari-hari. Thank you to our speaker and moderator for your time and extraordinary presentation and discussion, which have provided us with valuable knowledge to apply in our daily lives. Sebelum mengakhiri acara pada siang hari ini, terima kasih banyak kepada para peserta yang telah menyimak acara dari awal sampai akhir. Saya, mewakili panitia yang bertugas, menyampaikan mohon maaf atas salah kata dan perbuatan. Akhir kata, terima kasih dan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kepada Bapak, Ibu, dan mahasiswa peserta kuliah umum dosen tamu internasional, izinkan kami menyampaikan informasi penting terkait sertifikat kegiatan hari ini, agar mengisi pada link atau scan barcode yang akan kami tampilkan di layar monitor. Terima kasih.
Thank you once again, Prof. Senatsky.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Prof. Senats.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Prof. Muhammad Henry. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah hari ini kita sudah melaksanakan kegiatan kuliah umum tamu internasional. Terima kasih para peserta, kepada panitia yang hari ini memfasilitasi kita kegiatan hari ini. Maaf kalau ada kekurangan dalam kegiatan ini. Bapak Ibu terima kasih. Bapak Ibu, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.